Skull Nation, stop right in OWUS. Bank Stadium just erupted with breaking news, and one fact is already hammering down on Minneapolis. 3-4, 3 wins, 4 losses, and the game this Sunday against the Detroit Lions is all or nothing for this entire season to flip upside down. But listen here, because Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's front office is not waiting around. First ball, the Vikings are in active pursuit of a cornerback at the trade deadline, and the market is hot, very hot. Second shock, J.J. McCarthy is BACK after 6 devastating weeks with an ankle injury, and the young quarterback guaranteed his foot is incredible and ready for war. Third explosion, one of the starting cornerbacks, Jeff Okuda, was demolished by his second concussion in weeks, leaving the defense limping. Fourth crack, Christian Darrisaw, the franchise left tackle, was downgraded to non-participant on Thursday, creating more concern up front on the offensive line. And fifth storm, a lesser-known wide receiver, Jalen Nailor, is a trade candidate that Kwesi is seriously considering to recoup draft picks before losing the player for free in March. 5 stories, one window that is closing fast. If the Vikings win in Detroit, everything changes. If they lose, the season might be over on October 31st. The numbers don't lie. Just 18.2% chance at the playoffs according to DraftKings, 11.1% according to some sites. The pressure is now. If you believe Minneapolis still has fighters inside the locker room, hit like and prepare yourself for what is coming, because the next 9 minutes are going to define if this season is a waste or salvation. Skull Viking Nation, here comes the truth. Stay locked until the end, because there is a double cliffhanger involving a rival you will not see coming that will flip everything upside down. Let us start with the trade deadline movement that has Adofo-Mensah strategizing all night long. Shut the door. Kwesi sits alone in the room. The cornerback market in 2025 is a war, and Minnesota needs a defensive warrior now, not in 2026. The executive office knows this. Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated confirmed on Friday that the Vikings are in active pursuit. The names are circulating around the locker room as defensive Houdinis who could change everything. Rick Woolen from the Seattle Seahawks and Alontae Taylor from the New Orleans Saints. But here is the problem: only for cornerbacks have been traded all season, and the options are drying up like a well in the Arizona desert. Rick Woolen the name, a cornerback is 6 feet 2, explosive speed, the kind of athlete who can cover a receiver on a deep ball while hitting like a linebacker. Problem: Mike Macdonald, the Seahawks coach, never seemed convinced. Woolen lost playing time in Seattle. He is playing now, but the future, too uncertain. The data, anonymous source from the Seahawks, indicates the kid is not in their long-term plans. And here is the blow. Woolen would offer Minnesota exactly what is missing: the raw physical size and speed that the Vikings need to cover one of the worst cornerback trios in the NFC. But there is more to this story. Jeff Okuda, the Vikings' third cornerback, was devastated by his second concussion in 8 weeks. Concussion? It is not like an ankle or knee injury, it is the man's brain saying no more. Okuda, former 3rd overall pick of the Detroit Lions, was signed in the summer as a bet to unlock his potential that has slept during his first 5 years in Detroit. Slept at DID. In 6 games, 14 tackles, 12 passes defensively permitted, 11 completed. Success rate: 146.5 on coverage, nearly perfect at allowing points. The PFF grade: 30.4. To give you context, anything below 40 is close to get out of the league. Okuda was at 30.4. Vikings defense: Okuda allowed 175 yards and 1 touchdown in 7 defensive snaps that are well remembered. Thursday, Okuda was not at practice. Non-participant Kyle Jowdery from Perplex described the situation weeks ago. Okuda offers physical size and skill. He did not reach his potential as a CB3. It would not be a surprise to see him leaving the team soon. Prophetic. That was before the second concussion. Now, after the second hit to the skull in less than 2 months, Okuda should not be uniformed in Detroit. But here comes the question that keeps fans awake. When Okuda returns, if he returns, what will his mental health be like? Concussions are not like sprains. You can recover an ankle. A skull, neurological recovery is slow. Some men take months to regain balance and confidence. Others never do. Okuda is 27 years old. That is not young to be suffering multiple brain injuries in just weeks. So who plays in the slot when Okuda is gone? Dwight McGlothern, an undrafted rookie from 2024 who came out of training camp as a long-shot hope. McLaughlin barely has snaps. He registers flashes of talent, but he is raw, very raw. Fabian Moreau is on the practice squad. Jay Ward, the fourth safety, could gain extra snaps. Harrison Smith, the veteran star safety of the Vikings, is playing more frequently now, but he is safety, not CB3. Minnesota frequently uses formations with THREE safeties instead of a third corner back in admission. They do not trust anyone in that rotation spot. This leaves Byron Murphy Jr. and Isaiah Rodgers carrying all the responsibility. Murphy is elite. Rodgers won Defensive Player of the Week. Both are registering all-pro seasons, but they are playing while Okuda wastes snaps allowing completions. What do the Vikings get when Murphy and Rodgers are free from carrying Okuda on their backs? Defensively, a different unit, a threat. Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings head coach, acknowledged the situation last week. Okuda has potential. He said, potential. The word you use when current performance is bad. Potential was in 2020 when Detroit selected him. Now it is 2025 and potential still has not come. It will not come. Not for this season. Now here is the reality that nobody wants to say out loud. Okuda might have played his last snaps as a Viking, not because he is hurt, because he is not good. The concussions are just the excuse. The front office needs to move him back in the depth chart without looking guilty for a failed signing. I ask you all, do you believe Jeff Okuda still has a place in Detroit? That he becomes a healthy Cardinal in 2026? Or do the Vikings need to accept that the bet on the ex-Lion failed and move forward? Comment below. If you believe McLaughlin can become the defensive surprise that Minnesota needs, like this video, because soon he could be called the guard receivers of the Detroit Lions. And yes, the Lions have THRE aces on the receiving unit this week. But wait, there's more. Because while Okuda is out, there's another problem growing on the sideline that nobody is talking about. Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle of the franchise who protects the quarterback's blind side, was sat down on Thursday. His knee again, and if Darrisaw cannot stay on his feet in Detroit, J.J. McCarthy, the young QB who just returned from 6 weeks sidelined, is walking into a war zone with outside protection. Next story is about the danger of that situation. Thursday afternoon, the Minnesota Vikings released their injury report. Christian Darrisaw, left tackle, direct protector of J.J. McCarthy's blind side, was downgraded from full participation to non-participant. His knee again. This is the fourth day this season that Darrisaw is managing this same knee. Managing, nice word for broken. Here is the context you need to understand. Darrisaw is a first-round pick from 2021. The kid was built to be the left tackle for generations. In 2024, he was ELITE, but now in 2025, the knee does not allow him to play 16 games like a healthy man. Weeks, he is managing. Workouts, limited participant. Thursday, non-participant. Pattern, yes. Darrisaw has been doing this for weeks to control his workload, manage rest. A day here, a day there. But when you completely sit out on Thursday and there is only one practice remaining before the game, the risk is real. Sunday in Detroit, J.J. McCarthy will face the defense of Mike McDonald from the Seahawks. No wait. The Detroit Lions defense under Dan Campbell that registers 30 sacks in 7 weeks. 32. They are burning quarterbacks like candles on Halloween. Aidan Hutchinson, Za'Darius Smith, James Houston, Jack Campbell, all destroying offenses. If Christian Darrisaw is not healthy, if he is taking rest days on Thursday with the knee swollen, J.J. McCarthy is walking into a situation where he could be slaughtered on his blind side. McCarthy already took one major hit this season, an ankle sprain that kept him sidelined for 6 weeks. The 22-year-old is just returning to action. He watched the last 6 games from the bench, observing and studying. His ankle, incredible, McCarthy said Wednesday. Ready to play, he declared to the world. Confidence, absolute. But confidence does not matter if your left tackle is sitting on the bench. Now, there's good news wrapped in this defensive horror story. Jonathan Greener, the pass-rushing linebacker that Minnesota trained to be defense against for wide receivers, such returned from limited participation on Wednesday to full participation on Thursday. Greener suffered an ankle injury weeks ago. The kid had not played at full strength since week 5. He is coming back, and his return, a massive boost to a defense that is decimated by injuries. How many Vikings are in uncertain health status? LEFT tackle Darrisaw, non-participant. Cornerback Okuda concussion, out. Linebacker Van Ginkel absent for weeks, could return. Center Ryan Kelly the only starting lineman who could be completely out for the next 8 weeks. Tight end Josh Oliver foot, out of practice. Offensive tackle Brian O'Neill, knee, limited participant. Cornerback Isaiah Rogers shoulder, limited participant. Lateral CJ Ham hand, out. 8 EIGHT players in uncertain health status in a game that is all for Minnesota season. But Greenard is coming back. Why? Because the Vikings cannot afford to lose another defensive body. Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator, knows that without Greenard, the defensive line cannot pressure Detroit quarterbacks the way needed. The Lions are scoring points, many points. A game in Detroit without Greenard is a disaster. So this is it. Darrisaw is compromised. McCarthy is young and vulnerable. The offense needs to be fast, efficient, and immediate. No hesitation, no delay in decision making. Because if JJ stays in the pocket for more than 0.5 seconds this game, he is eating grass at Ford Field. I ask you, do you believe J.J. McCarthy can survive a game in Detroit with Christian Darrisaw managing a knee injury? Does that affect his development? Comment your concern below. And if you believe Greenard needs to have a monster performance this week to make the defense turn the tide, smash like right now. Because there is one chance McCarthy could save this entire season. But he needs to stay on his feet to do it. And that chance arrives tomorrow when J.J. McCarthy takes the field against the Lions and tries to start something that would change everything for Minnesota. Next story is how this young quarterback transformed the locker room in just 2 games before the injury. 6 weeks, 6 complete weeks. The clock started in week 3 when J.J. McCarthy felt his ankle explode in Atlanta. The meniscus was not the culprit. It was a sprain that hurt him deep. The Vikings doctors evaluated, and the conclusion was clear. Total rest. No alternatives. No negotiation. Until the swelling disappeared and mobility returned, McCarthy would observe. Observe he did. But here is the thing the media is not capturing. J.J. McCarthy grew while observing. He rewatched both his first Games 1 epic comeback win against the Chicago Bears, where he put his finger on the scoreboard to consecutive possessions in the 4th quarter, generating 170 yards and 3 touchdowns in 17 minutes, and one disastrous loss against the Atlanta Falcons, where he took 6 sacks and committed 3 turnovers in an awful performance while managing an ankle injury that he did not know would sideline him. Kevin O'Connell, his coach, reconstructed everything during that period with McCarthy on the bench. The 22-year-old young quarterback learned lessons about progression, when to read the defense quickly, when to get the ball out into 0.1 seconds, when to trust your primary receiver versus running. Lessons that take years for quarterbacks normally. McCarthy learned them in 6 weeks of military observation. I feel myself again, McCarthy said Wednesday. I have gotten back the mobility that worried me. His ankle is incredible, according to his own words. Ready for war? Completely ready. Now, here comes the reality that nobody wants to admit. J.J. McCarthy is the future of the Minnesota Vikings, but he is also the present that needs to begin now. Sam Darnold proved last year he can win 14 regular season games. Minnesota let him leave because they trusted J.J. was the answer for generations. When Darnold left the field with a minor knee injury in week 3 and McCarthy entered his place against Chicago, the kid was between an amateur throw and an NFL player. 2 weeks later, in Atlanta, it was disaster. 6 sacks, 3 turnovers, incompleteness, loss of control. If you were watching, the future did not look bright. But here is the context that matters. McCarthy was playing with a broken ankle that he did not know was broken. He missed the entire practice week that day because his son was born, and he faced the Atlanta defense that allowed less than 205 passing yards all year. 3 things lined up against JJ that day. Minnesota knew it. Now, 6 weeks later, McCarthy is returning healthy. His ankle recovered. His confidence intact. He says he is extremely confident. His understanding of the game expanded by hours of obsessive study on the bench. I focus on doing simple things right, McCarthy said, retracing his study. Using my feet right, staying calm in every play, every situation, getting back to fundamentals. This is maturity from a rookie. This is pro thinking. The big risk for Minneapolis? J.J. McCarthy is young. His game sample is small. He is not the veteran quarterback who won 14 games that was Darnold. He is the future hope who can, on a good day, flip a game. On a bad day, still a rookie. So which is more likely on Sunday in Detroit? Nobody knows. And that is why every Vikings fan is holding their breath. But there is another story nobody is connecting. While J.J. McCarthy returns as the future, there is a wide receiver named Jalen Nailor who is a candidate to leave. Aficionados is considering trading him before next week's deadline. Why? Because Nailor is not getting enough passes while Justin Jefferson, star elite, and Jordan Addison return from injury dominate the ball distribution in 7 weeks. Nailor registered 13 receptions. 13. The kid was selected in the 6th round in 2022 and was considered maybe the best talent from that infamous class. He showed explosiveness in the 2020 for preseason. Last year, with Sam Darnold throwing to anyone who moved, Nailor gained for 100-plus yards and 6 TDs as the third receiver. This year, with J.J. McCarthy on his feet during 2 weeks, when healthy, with the passing offense down 48% versus last year, with Jefferson and Addison draining the well of opportunities, Nailor is not getting the NOUGH passes. Here is the irony. The kid is getting open frequently. He breaks loose, but passes do not arrive. Why? Because the QB needs to throw to Jefferson, must throw to Addison. Nailor has to trust his time comes. It is not coming. According to Kevin Seifert from ESPN, the Vikings are not forcing a Nailor trade, but they are open. A slot corner or receiver could arrive in exchange. The kid will be free agent in March, with Jefferson representing $39 million in the 2026 cap and Addison eligible for an extension. Nailor could end up leaving anyway soon. Maybe this week, maybe in March as a free agent with no compensation. The Minnesota team is doing hard math. Nailor deserved more opportunities, but on a team fighting and out of playoff contention, using his future might be the best path. So the question is, which team needing a second or third receiver would give draft picks for Nailor? I ask you, do you believe J.J. McCarthy can develop fast enough in Detroit to deserve full-time play? Or is it too soon? Comment below. If you believe Nailor deserved to stay and develop as a wideout 3 slowly, like this video. Because soon, he might be in a different uniform, and Minnesota will regret the opportunity they did not give. Next segment, it is time to sum up ALL of this, and explain why Minnesota still has a chance. Yes, a real chance to save this entire season if they win in Detroit. 5 stories, 5 explosions. The Minnesota Vikings is at a moment that defines generations of fans. Trade deadline season, Okuda's body destroyed by concussions. Left tackle Darrisaw managing a knee that could fail. J.J. McCarthy returning from an injury that sidelined him 6 weeks. Jalen Nailor sitting on the bench waiting for chances that never arrive. And Aficionados calculating if cornerback Rick Woolen from the Seattle Seahawks is the piece that transforms Minnesota from a 3-and-for loser into a real contender. When you put it all together, McCarthy's return, the cornerback upgrade on defense, Greenard coming back from injury, the defense that sits among the best in the NFL at generating pressure. There is one story that Minneapolis needs to tell itself: we win in Detroit. We survive November with hope, and maybe, just maybe, we finish this year in January as a playoff team. Not a fairy tale, it is math. If Minnesota goes 4-4 in 7 weeks, they are technically still alive. If they win in Detroit and win 3 of the next 4, suddenly they are 7-5. Suddenly, winning the division is still a distant possibility. Losses against bad defenses become luxuries they can no longer afford. But there is the opposite scenario that nobody wants to consider. If J.J. McCarthy takes 12+ hits in Detroit because Darrisaw cannot protect his blind side, if Christian Darrisaw's knee gives in the 3rd quarter and he leaves the field hurt, if Jeff Okuda, even when he returns, is still a defensive liability, if Jalen Nailor is traded for a 3rd-round pick because the front office decides that rebuild is wiser than contention, suddenly, Minnesota is not in a fight. It is in rebuild mode. It is in demolition process for 2026. And J.J. McCarthy, instead of becoming a hero in Week 9, becomes a young quarterback who lost his first big opportunity in a Vikings uniform instead of a Bears one. Aficionados knows this. Kevin O'Connell knows. The players know. This game in Detroit is everything. So here is what I need from you, Minnesota Nation. First, If you believe the Vikings still have enough magic to make a super run in November and December, smash like right now. Make this video explode in engagement. Make the algorithms know that Skull Nation still believes when nobody else does. Prove to the world that Minneapolis does not quit. Second, drop a comment and tell me, what is your bold prediction for the rest of this season? Do the Vikings win in Detroit and win the division? Or is this the week that the season officially ends? Comment your boldest prediction. The best comments will be featured in our next video. Third, subscribe to this channel right now, because over the next 9 days, there are going to be explosions in Minnesota. The trade deadline is next week. Rick Woolen could come to Minneapolis. Jalen Nailor could be traded, and every move changes everything. If you are subscribed, you will get every update in real time, every bold analysis, every insider take you cannot get anywhere else. Now, here comes the double cliffhanger that will blow everything up. Eternal cliffhanger. There is a rumor circulating, and this comes from sources close to the Vikings locker room, that a meeting without coaches, without front office, just players, happened Wednesday night. A veteran led it. Hard words were said about focus, about execution, about if everyone in that locker room really wants this season saved, or if they are ready to lose. This meeting could unite the locker room, or could break it into pieces. Next video, I reveal who led that meeting and what was said, and it will shock you. External cliffhanger. The Detroit Lions, the team Minnesota faces Sunday, just received news on Wednesday that changes everything. An injury, a big injury. One of Dan Campbell's star defenders was listed as questionable. If that defender does not play, the Vikings offense has a real chance. If he plays, Minnesota is walking into an offensive trap. Next video, I say the name of which defender is hurt and why this matters for everything in Sunday's game. Skull Viking Nation, you have been incredible in this video. Hit subscribe, make noise in the comments, and come back in 48 hours because the next bombshell cannot be missed. We are on October 31st, the Fury arriving in November, and every moment matters now. Thank you for staying with me. Until the next video, Skull.